Well, they aren't here yet, but they're coming. We're talking about Miller moths.
That's right. Experts say they are migrating west and eventually are going to land here in Colorado. We've got entomologist and horticulture specialist Kareem Garby joining us right now to talk a little bit more about what we can expect when they get here. I feel like he's about to describe the plot of a horror movie. Kareem, thank you for being with us. You were just telling us some other disturbing stories about some different bugs. We want to hear the rest of that in just a bit. First of all, let's talk about Miller moths. Why are they such a problem every year?
So Miller moths are Denver locals just like us. They spend part of their lifespan in the plains and then they migrate to the higher elevations in the late spring.
So are you, I know they say you're not supposed to kill them. Why is it important to keep them alive?
Miller moths, they are part of our ecosystem. A lot of native organisms feed on them. For example, our ground beetles, members of the Coloradoans, feed on the larval stage. There's actually a type of wasp called a cutworm wasp that specializes in parasitizing the Miller moth. And they also serve as food for bears, sometimes as coyotes, and they're important native pollinators too.
Talk a little bit more about the pollinating side of that, because I think that's where, we kind of come in a little bit more with the not killing them. How are they good for us if we have gardens in our backyard or something like that?
Yeah, so Miller moths are nocturnal, and so a lot of flowers only open up their flowers or have their peak nectar flow at night. So these nocturnal pollinators are specialized to pollinate flowers that are also nocturnally active.
All right, so I don't mind them when they're outside, but how do we keep them out of our house? Like, why are they ending up inside?
That's a good question. Miller moths have this behavior called being thigmotactic, meaning they like to feel like they're being hugged on all sides.
Okay, maybe I'm thigmotactic. I like to be hugged too.
Yeah, so they like dark, cramped spaces, and that can often be the cracks in like the doors of our cars, our garages, or cracks along the windows, vents, or doorways of our homes. So they're just seeking out some shelter, and sometimes a wrong turn takes them into our homes.
Okay, interesting. Now, when we think of moths and you think of them going inside, typically moths can eat your clothes and kind of that's when you see the holes in your sweater. Miller moths are not that case, though. They only eat plants, right?
That's correct. Only the larval stage feeds on plants. The adults are pollinators, and they are not attacking anything in your home. Not you, not your pets, not your furniture, not your children. They're just a nuisance pest.
Okay.
We call them that because they're only a problem because seeing them around being annoying is a nuisance.
There's some people like that too, right?
Yep, that's true. Is it true that they're kind of like dirty? Is that dust on their wings or no?
That's a good question. So that dust is actually their wing scales. Moths and butterflies, their wings are made up of a bunch of microscopic scales that can be shed very easily. They evolved that defense to deal with spiders. If they get caught in a spider web, they shed some scales and they can live another day.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Kareem, thank you so much for coming in.